Hey everybody, Jabman025 here. Today I'm taking a look at only my second Reborn 1100 kit, the Dijeh from the series Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. The Dijeh is the suit that Amuro Ray pilots in that series. And basically what happens is he shows up, asks, what do you got I can pilot? They give him this. Doesn't have time to customize it, doesn't have time to get him in his own colors. He just hops in the pilot seat and away he goes. And I knew I wanted this kit when they announced it, but I knew I wanted to customize it because I hate this color scheme. I think it's hideous. So I said, okay, I'm going to do the Amuro Ray version. And my original plan was to do the new Gundam colors, the black and the white. And a modeler named Koichi had already done it, and he did an amazing job. I'll leave a link in my description below if you want to have a look at it. And I realized there's no way I'm matching what he did. So I went to an alternate route and decided to do the high new colors, the light blue, the white, and the silver. So let's have a look and see what we got. Now, the original colors you get are this black, almost navy color, this hideous aqua blue nastiness, and a little bit of yellow, a little bit of red. Like I said, that blue color is just ugh. So yeah, getting customized. And this is what it's supposed to look like when it's all said and done. A little bit of gunmetal in there too. Lots of grays. I pretty much left the grays alone in this case, because I like the inner frame on this kit, or what very little there is of it. The colors I went with was a ocean blue from Rust-Oleum and a straight pure white from Tamiya. I I base coated the whole thing with a white primer first. Now, unfortunately, the blue I used is extremely glossy, so I had to kill that with a flat top coat. However, I also used silver, and that is very glossy, and I wanted to keep it. So I usually do a top coat at the end. Not in this case. I did it while it was still like this. Top half of the kit. Silver for the parts of the chest. The blue, I do have to do some touch-up work, obviously. On the head there, you see that silver. I hand-painted that. I was originally going to keep it blue, but didn't go on very smoothly at all on that part, so I had to file it off. And actually, I had to file it off again. It wasn't a smooth coat at all on that one particular part. I'm not sure why. Everything else turned out fine. They have these rubber cables that go from the back of the head into this backpack. They look like they connect into something, but they really don't. They're just down there connected to nothing, but it gives a good illusion. Seam lines are pretty bad on this kit. They're in certain places they stand out like a sore thumb, but it's not terrible. In terms of poseability, decent. Good bend out of the shoulders, nice bend out of the elbows. The shoulder's on a big ball joint, so they'll go just about anywhere. Despite the big armor on each of the shoulders, it doesn't really get in the way. The hands are interchangeable. You get 3 styles: trigger finger, fist, and open hand. Both the shoulders pivot. You got this entire giant shield, which I have to repaint underneath because that looks like crap, which I did. And the blue bracket on the top moves up and down. The legs, I went with a white all the way across and just some silver for the top of the skirt armor. I was tempted to add a little blue or a little silver in that knee area, but I left it alone. I really wanted to put that silver here on the side with those vents, but I decided against it because I was using a lot of silver on this kit. In the original high new, there wasn't a ton of it. Poseability on the ankles will barely move at all. I mean, there's not much here. Bend under the knee, decent, but not great. You can see those rubber cables on the back. You can really get an idea that they are rubber because they just move out of the way. These actually connect into a couple places. But both feet will need to be firmly planted on the ground on this kit. And you can see I got some touch-up work to do. Whenever you paint something like this, you will never get it all, no matter how good a spray painter or airbrush you are. You're always going to have to go back and retouch some things. And this kit in particular was very tight. After I've added on a layer of primer and paint, obviously I tightened up the kit, but even before I did anything, this was a tight kit. And I had to sand a lot of edges to get everything to fit. Now for the wings on the back, I did something a little fancy. I decided I'm going to do the fade to blue or fade to white, depending on how you look at it, from the high new Verka, or standard design, depending on how you look at it, where the primer goes from white to blue. This looks really difficult, and it's really not. I'm going to show you an easy trick on how to do this. Lay it down on a flat piece of paper, paint it all white, flip it over. It leaves you a guide, obviously, because what is uncovered. Then you run a straight line of the paint you're going to fade down the center. You can see it kind of fades out. Blue on one side, white on the other, and it fades from one to the other. Kind of got a little thick on the edges, but that's okay. Now this has to be 100% perfect dry before you do this part. And I mean perfect. All the way. Not 99%, all the way dry, and you got to add a top coat. What you do is you flip it. You've got your guide, obviously, there on the paper. Flip the piece over on the other side. Then all you have to do is follow that same guide again, and it'll be the same on both sides as you see here. Blue, fade to white, and on this side, blue, fade to white, and they line up not perfectly, but very, very close. But on a fade like this, they don't have to line up perfectly. Thrusters on the side, repainted them white. Top silver, bottom silver with some clear red just to give it a little glow. Why? Because I thought it would look cool. The mono eye is clear. You can paint it whatever color you want. I just use a red Sharpie. It's my standard method for mono eyes. It looks good. You can move it with a pair of tweezers, but not by much. The camera on the head, I went ahead and painted red, again, because I thought it would look cool. Little panel lining. I didn't want to get crazy on this. I did use a Gundam marker, Real Touch. It did really well on the panel lining. I was impressed by that. I was tempted to use a little bit more blue. Unfortunately, I had a hard time matching this blue with a touch-up. You can see there, it's a little off. It's just a little bit darker, and I couldn't quite get that to match perfectly. But you're never going to notice that unless I point it out, which I just did. But anyway, ignore that. Decals. I used a Karuba Air Force decal on the shoulder armor, and I used the Amuro A on the other shoulder. This kit does come with a lot of good decals. The problem is they're almost all white, and for a kit that I've made almost all white, they wouldn't really stand out that much. So I only use 2 decals. But they give you some bonus ones like that Amuro A. Getting this kit airborne, actually a pretty decent connection into this guy. He is pretty top-heavy, but the connection right into the crotch, perfect slot, locks in there. I'm not quite brave enough to turn him sideways because of how top-heavy he is. But it's a good connection, not a real problem here. But he is a lot more poseable once he's in the air. Accessories, these should look kind of familiar. Beam rifle, came in plain old gunmetal. I repainted it white, ammo pack blue, and silver cable. Bazooka, I've left alone, straight up gunmetal. Not because I didn't feel like customizing it, but because I don't think I'll ever use posing for it, and I figured I'd save it for something else. And the double-bladed beam saber, repainted the handle silver, left the yellow alone, or yellow-orange, kind of ugly, but I don't think I'll ever use that either. But holds them just fine. The trigger finger clamps over both of them, have a little tooth, connects right in. It's never going to drop it, rock solid. No problems whatsoever. The bazooka and the gun can be attached onto these little sections here. Essentially, all you really have to do is pull the wing out just a little, as you see here, and it can hook right in, one on each obviously, and the beam saber handle connects into this little clip down here on the back of the skirt armor, and no problems connecting there. Final thoughts on this kit. This was kind of what I expected the Reborn 100 kits to really be. Not all that detailed, not great in posability, not great in accessories, but good. This is the old 1/100th no grade or high grade line. Nothing spectacular, nothing terrible. The Nightingale was kind of a disappointment to me. I thought it was a big giant red brick and didn't do anything. This is better than that. Not great posability, but good. Not great accessories, but good. As for my customization, I'm pretty happy with it. I thought this would be a real simple, real easy custom job, and it took a lot longer than I thought. It was a tough kit, but I enjoyed it. I think it turned out well. I'm really proud of the way the wings turned out in particular. But as for the kit itself, I'm giving it a thumbs up. Just realize what it is. It's the old high-grade kit back in business. Or high-grade 1/100 kit back in business. Well, gang, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found it informative. If you have any questions, please ask them. And please leave a comment. You guys know I love reading them. Let me know what you guys thought of the custom. You think it turned out good? You like it? Hate it? Think it's average? Let me know. I'd like to hear. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and one more thing. When you really think about it, the Dijeh is essentially what would happen if the Rick Diaz and the Gelgoog got busy. Now, after I said that, I realized that some of you are thinking about that, and I'm sorry. And I realize a couple of you out there are thinking about drawing it. Please don't. Please, please don't. Put the pen down. Please.